guy's smart.
I guess, you know, like stuff. What's up, guys? Today we are doing some dual stuff. We're gonna do a separate video on what we're doing to my Z right here. But today, in this video, we are working on the original HKS 350Z demo car. If you guys haven't seen the intro video on that, we will post a link to it right there. But basically, we took this car in September, October?
Something like that. I think October.
Yeah, and it's awesome.
It was intended to be flipped.
Yeah, we have bought it because we were planning on selling it after taking some parts that we really wanted, because it came with a ton of parts, including a supercharger kit. But then after about a month of deliberation, Indey decided he wanted to keep it because heritage, and it's a great reason. And so we worked it out. We sold the supercharger and otherwise kind of kept everything else for the two of us.
Yep.
So unfortunately, one of the things that this, despite the fact that it has a long block swap that only has like 50,000-60,000 miles on it with like forged internals, which is awesome, we do need to get, oh my bad.
Hello, my stock intake.
My stock intake.
What will I do?
What will I do? I don't know. Put the Nismo on? Okay. So we're doing some radiator work today. We have a Koyo radiator. Is that a dual core?
I think they call it their V-core.
V-core?
Something like that.
Aluminum radiator, which we will have out in a moment. We have a OEM Nissan thermostat. And then we have some hoses from HPS. All of this was ordered from Concept Z. Concept Z, if you guys are looking for parts for Zs and Gs, because this installation will kind of apply to a G35 as well.
Yeah.
There's really only two sites you guys should be looking. Z1 Motorsports and Concept Z Performance are like the two sites where you can't really go wrong if you order.
There's some other.
There's a few others, but those are like the big well-known ones.
I think like Evasive and.
Evasive is great too. Yeah, Evasive and Juku are great as well, but they don't focus on Z like Nissans. So like you will find some of the same stuff on Evasive and Juku, but like, if you want to get more parts in one order, you're just going to want to go with Concept Z. We actually also have a Willwood Race Master cylinder for the clutch that we're going to put in at some point, which is pretty sick.
Yes.
But this install will start. So we already have the car up in the air. This car is not so low that we couldn't jack up from the front subframe. So if you guys don't know how to jack up a car, you can use the front subframe if the front bumper isn't that low. Then you're really gonna want to put your jack stands under the frame rails. Don't put them out by the pinch welds. That's just not something we would recommend.
Fair enough.
They can bend.
But just for reference, this car did actually come with a Koyo in it. But the car started overheating on relatively short journeys. I had replaced the thermostat in the hopes of a quick fix, just because I had no idea how long it had been. Didn't work, which is fine, not a big deal. I finally was able to recreate the leak, because it wasn't leaking. It was really weird. It would overheat and but be full.
Right.
And I was finally able to recreate the leak by opening the back bleed valve, which is right back, tucked in there, right there. So you can see there's a little Phillips head on that, and that's your back bleed valve. If your car is on the ground and you're trying to do coolant and you still have that, you need to use that point. That is the highest point in the system.
To fill.
To bleed.
To bleed.
You bleed the air out.
Yeah.
So
that way you don't have to do the Honda thing where you're squeezing the hose and waiting and squeezing the hose and waiting.
Yeah.
Right?
In this position, which is why I parked the car uphill this way, our highest point is here.
Yes.
So, but I opened it up to bleed some air out to see if there was just some weird thing happening. And that's when finally it started shooting coolant out of the back side of the radiator onto the engine. And I was just like, oh, there you are. I see you now.
Yep.
So
I have found you.
Yeah, I was kind of like, all right, well, I guess it's time for another Koyo.
Right.
Sucks, but it is what it is. So, like I said, grab the new Koyo. The OEM Nissan thermostat's super cheap. It's like $30.
Yeah, you might as well go away.
So I was just like, whatever. I'm just gonna put a brand new OEM one back in because we're already here. It takes 2 seconds to do when you're in this situation. And when stock parts break, you upgrade them.
Yes,
So,
yeah. I mean, especially if you have the budget to buy OEM parts, there's really no reason why you shouldn't be buying aftermarket parts.
Yeah.
Like upgraded aftermarket parts, like I should say.
And in this case, silicone hose kit. This hose kit does come with. Clamps, sticker, but it also comes with this big long guy, which is why I wanted this kit in particular, and then a smaller hose for your overflow. I don't think any of the other ones come with the big long one. I can't remember offhand, but that is this hose right here. So it'll replace
very nice.
this, and then this guy right here.
Not bad.
Yeah, and they're the same price as like the 2 hose kits. It's kind of why,
Yeah. Why not just go for the full thing? Plus, HPS is a great company. You can get HPS hoses on Concept Z and Evasive.
Evasive definitely has them, yeah. But yeah, it was kind of like just replace all of them because they're already here.
Yeah. So first steps, if you have an engine cover, take it off. Should be some 10s.
Yep.
If you have an intake, you can remove either. I mean, it depends on what your intake setup is, but get it to the point where it's clearing this far.
Yeah, pretty much. And then from here, I have to drain the coolant and then undo the hoses, take out the radiator. These things are really interesting because they have these little tabby guys that you just lock.
Yeah.
Ignore that I only have one, it's fine. You just turn them halfway, that'll unlock the radiator. So
yeah,
it's pretty much just drain coolant, undo fans, pull fans out, disconnect hoses, turn that guy halfway, and the radiator should just come right out.
We shall see. Hopefully pretty straightforward. Let's get into it. Yeah. So, Indey's been just cranking on this thing. First order of business was to drain the coolant, obviously.
Yep.
So.
Nothing special there. Drain the coolant. Make sure.
Where's your bleeder? It's down.
On this, it's a flat one on the very bottom. Most OEM radiators have a side mount one. This one has a flat one.
Yeah.
And then I popped the lower hose. A quick note, I popped the lower.
And then obviously if you guys don't know, you just need pliers for that. To like the hose clamps.
I popped the lower drain plug first and then pulled the radiator cap when I was out of the way, so that way it could spill a bunch of coolant with me not next to it.
Yes. Yeah. You want to do that in order because basically the way that these systems work, it's like if you've ever had if you ever shotgunned a beer, it's the same concept basically. Like shotgun to Red Bull, shotgun to beer.
Yeah.
You poke a hole in the side of the can, but it won't like spill out until you crack it. It's the same thing. So you're opening the bleeder on the bottom, but it won't
coming out, but it's
it'll
pouring.
drip out, but it won't shoot out until you create air, another passage of air in the system for it to, just funnel down. So that's the action of opening the radiator cap will do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then the lower radiator hose came off, which you can see it's chilling over there on the side.
Yep.
That was just up to here on the thermostat housing. This connecting bypass hose is off. I just need to get this clamp, the connecting bypass will be out of there. Because like I said, the HPS kit comes with the replacement.
Yep.
And I just broke this loose, so I'll pull the top radiator hose off, and then this out of the way, then the fans, then
basically move the hoses first to get clearance for the fans, and pull the fans to get clearance for the radiator.
Yeah, you can't necessarily pull the fans. We tried this on your car when we were doing the crank pulley the other week.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen that, we got a new Z1 lightweight crank pulley. So that's a new crank pulley right there with the new Z1 belts. We did the idler delete spacer right there too. So if you guys are interested with videos right there.
But we tried to pull the fans, hoping there would be some kind of like side room, but there's not. The only way to get the fans out is to definitely pull your top radiator hose.
Yeah, this guy will not allow you to pull your fans, period.
Well, it's also the lower being in the way, preventing it from going that way, even if you could get this side like kind of up, Yeah. So,
something for me to keep in mind, because my coolant is shit. Maybe I should upgrade my radiator setup at the same time.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Something to think about.
All right. Fans are removed.
That was a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, first thing first, this line's still in. I just need to get the thing. We'll get there. Not a big deal right now. I had to unbolt the AC hard line from right here.
Okay.
So you can see we have movement. But guess what? The AC condenser is bolted to the radiator, which is why you have these front plugs.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's just these top bolts. We'll find out. I don't know for certain yet.
Yep.
But I gotta at least get these guys out to see if I can get this to separate from the AC condenser, and then kind of go from there and see what else may be holding the AC condenser directly to the radiator.
Now, as far as the fan shroud was concerned, it's what? Just the 2 bolts up top?
The 2 top bolts.
And then it's like a tab, right? That it slips into?
Yeah, it slips in at the bottom. The wiring connectors, they extend down. You don't need to unbolt the ones at the fans. You can leave those because they extend down into the lower area. So you just unbolt those and all that wiring stays tucked in there nicely, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a squeeze to get it out, you know? But like I said, now we're playing figure out what bolts the AC condenser to the radiator. And then once that's off there, the radiator should just slip out. Because same thing with the bottom mount of the radiator, it just sits in there. But we just gotta figure out what's holding it.
Yep.
My glove ripped.
My glove ripped. It's gonna rain.
It's gonna rain.
So we had to remove the coolant overflow bottle bracket.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. I mean, I pulled the radiator out without removing it, but you know, I'm putting a nice shiny new radiator in that's not broken, so I definitely wanted to like
not be scratched.
Yeah, that. It sits right here. Let's see, 210 mils. Boop, boop. And then that'll pop right out. Take that out before you take your radiator out. You'll have a lot more clearance.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll matter that much with an OEM radiator, but it definitely makes a difference with.
Yeah, these Koyos are bigger, so.
They're definitely beefy.
Yeah, let's take a look at the one that came out. Did you spot the hole?
I didn't bother to look for it. I think it's somewhere along the back in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere in probably this area. But the car hasn't been driven much, so everything's pretty dry right now.
Yeah.
So either way, it was shooting out of the radiator. It won't do that anymore.
Yep.
But radiator's out. Last thing to do is just finish getting this hose out. This little crossover guy. That clamp's just being a bit of a pain, but whatever, we'll get there. And it might even be easier to just unbolt this from here to get this clamp out, because I think the opening side's on the bottom. I just can't see it, you know.
But besides those 2 pieces, it's that one hose, and then kind of reverse the process.
And then this is where the thermostat is on these. If you guys haven't seen and are used to older style thermostats, these things are kind of weird, a little funky.
It's time to get funky. Ooh, that's nice and shiny.
Nissan, right? I did get the nice little OEM metal gasket. You shouldn't need to use any sealant. There's a part number for you guys for the gasket. And for the that.
It's cheap enough. You might as well just do this instead of some like AC Delco or, you know, whatever.
I mean, pretty much. The only reason I did do a like Duralast or whatever before is because I was hoping that would be it, you know? But yeah, so this just connects to the top part of the lower hose, and then you have this guy, which is right here, so I gotta get him off, but not a big deal. We'll get there. You shouldn't need to use any sealant with your metal gaskets because they have a raised, you can see that kind of, you can feel it too if you wanna.
Yeah.
That raised ridge there.
Yeah.
When you tighten this down, it should compress the gasket completely, forcing it to seat, so you should need no sealant with these, which is the other reason I wanted to go back to OEM, you know? But yeah, look how nice that is. It's like machined.
Yeah.
Like very nice.
Clean.
Yeah.
Super clean.
But yeah, these are a funky setup.
Yeah.
And just so you know what this little guy does, this is important. Normally you can delete a lot of coolant lines and stuff. Not with this. There is your standard weep hole, which is down in there. You can see a little guy in there to let some coolant through. But this should basically just be a loop. Like literally if you follow the hose, it just kind of loops right back into before this side. And it's just a bypass, so coolant's still flowing while this is closed. But not usually something you delete. So just be aware. Don't delete that.
Don't delete it. Old one out, new one in.
Mostly. New thermostat is in. New gaskets in.
Those are all 10 mils, right?
Yeah, those are all 10 mils, just 3 of them. And like I said, the gasket will squish as you tighten it down. So that's done. The coolant reroute is back on. Now we got to get the new radiator in. I figured out the difference. This is a crossflow radiator versus the other one that's a traditional up-down. But crossflow is better because the coolant has to make...
oh, I see. So your fill cap is on the left side now.
Well, that, and you can see the end tanks are on the sides.
Is that going to affect any hose positioning?
No.
Okay, that's good.
It's meant to use factory hoses, so...
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so coolant will enter, and instead of just filling the tank and kind of going down and then going out, coolant ends up doing this, basically between, which allows for more passes through the radiator.
More efficient coolant, yeah.
Good stuff, you know.
Makes sense.
So what we need to do now is, the other one didn't have it, but this one does have these little brackets, which you can see down there at the front, for the AC condenser to sit into. So I'm going to be down at the bottom, and I just need you to manipulate the AC condenser up and down, and we'll slot that in, and then line these guys right here. See them? They'll line up to the AC condenser brackets right here. We'll shove some 10 mils through. That'll bolt the AC condenser back to the radiator, and then we'll just slot it all forward in place.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So we have the radiator bolted to the AC condenser. The fans are slipped in. The hoses are going on.
The fans were bolted in, but that's what I need help with, is we got to raise, because it's resting on the outlet for the radiator. So I just need to have you hold this up while I shove the lower hose on, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, everything's mostly there. You know.
HPS hose looks good.
Yeah. You are going to run into potentially an issue where the upper hose is vastly too long, which...
Whoa. Where's the stock one?
It's over there. It's about the same size.
Now, is this because of the Koyo radiator?
Partially. But it's still too long.
Oh, yeah. So, let's see if I can hold it for camera. Hold it up. Yeah, we're looking at like half an inch to an inch too long.
Yeah, so what I want to do is, because this goes this way, is hopefully just cut close to the HPS logo and be done. Because this side has less kink in it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is more kinked, so I don't want to cut off this side because it'll end up being kind of like funky to push on. So I'm hoping if we can just cut off to like, you know, rough it about there. That'll get that on. I don't know about the lower yet. We'll find out when we go to fit it right now. The top didn't need any trimming. This guy right here. This didn't need any trimming. If anything, it's a little tight. I'm not using the top bracket because there's just really no point to it. But we got this little bracket on, and that's more than enough to hold it.
Yeah.
So, not a big deal there. I wish the clamps they supplied were a little nicer. Kind of whatever. But they at least give you clamps.
Yeah, that's good.
Something's better than nothing, you know?
For sure. The hoses are in place. For the bottom hose, you are going to have to lift the fan shroud to get it to clear.
Yeah.
Once that's on, we've got this front hose, pretty straightforward. This hose needed to be trimmed. It was already longer than OEM, which we showed you in the last clip. But we had to trim it quite a bit, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah,
but
it's not my favorite length, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
not ideal, but you know, it is what it is. So it's on. We've already put some coolant in the system, so we are now going to get the car started.
a quick note, if you have one of these Lyle fillers that are awesome, they're great. They don't work with Koyo radiators, don't ask me why. The neck is too deep for the fitting.
Right.
Just a heads up.
Yeah.
We're still using it to fill, we just can't like
use it properly.
Pretty much.
Yep. so good. All right, radiator cap is back on. The original HKS radiator cap, which is pretty cool. So, everything seems pretty straightforward. We are gonna bleed it once it's on the ground.
Yeah.
We've got the bleeder valve in the back. We could bleed it from this position, but we're just gonna get everything on the ground because it has been a long day for us.
Yeah.
We did also do the tie rod and inner and outer tie rod and lower control arm on this car, so that was fun. Knocked out. It was a pretty efficient wrenching day for us. So
Yeah, definitely.
pretty good.
Got all the stuff done.
Yeah, so overall, the only real hiccup was that this one main hose was a little too long, needed to be trimmed, but otherwise, you know, pretty straightforward install. If you guys have any questions about the install, definitely let us know in the comments. If you have any requests for Z content, definitely let us know in the comments. Oh, I'm so tired. I've been drinking a lot of water too.
That's good. Water's good.
Yeah, water's good for you. I need some Gatorade. I need some Brondo
You need
juice.
some electrolytes?
Yeah.
Rondo.
Rondo.
Got what plans cave?
So let us know what you guys thought of the video in the comments down below. And if you liked the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.
We appreciate you guys.
And Brondo juice.
And Rondo.
This is Brondo juice.
It is.
It's got what cars need. It's got electrolytes.